Hello, everybody. Welcome to another review. Transmissions from the Outpost is what this series is called here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel, where your humble hosts of various design here on Outpost Unknown will throw up reviews of movies that they've seen every once in a while. And today I am joined by my friend Ronin down there in Tennessee.
Yes. Once again, two Matts, no Steves, the way it ought to be.
Yes. And Ronin, what are we reviewing today?
Well, we're gonna get right on the bandwagon. We're gonna optimize. We're gonna hit optimal SEO, search engine optimization, and get a topic while it's fresh and hot and not a month old. Predator Badlands.
Yes. Yes. One thing that the listener out there should know about Outpost Unknown is we are not good at being on the ball and getting timely stuff out at all. But we're going to try to change that, because if you're listening to this, next Friday is the premiere of Spartacus House of Asher, and we are going to try our damnedest to get a review out the same day that the episodes premiere, which is every Friday. So we are going to try to do that. We'll see if we can make it happen, but life gets in the way, especially with all the holidays and everything going on. So we're just now getting around to Predator Badlands. Now, Ronin, you are a fan of the Predator franchise. When I think of people in my friend group and I think, oh, Predator or Alien or something like that, I think of you first and foremost. You've been a big fan of the Predator property for a long time, correct?
It's one of those things where I can't tell you exactly when I first watched Predator. It was definitely younger me, 10 plus, but I don't have that memory in my head of the first time I watched like Alien or Predator. But yes, I like, as far as most children of our generation, we liked awesome movies, and Predator was definitely that. The sad thing is, this current generation, Predator is not a 15-second TikTok clip, so our current generation will never see it.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Predator since the original came out in the '80s. I am actually of the belief. I know you disagree with me. I am of the belief that Predator 2 is superior to the original Predator, even though I love the original Predator dearly. It's a great, amazing movie. I'm not taking anything away from it. I just like Predator 2 even better. And I remember distinctly having that poster of the Predator on my wall, where it showed like the Predator standing there and all of his different weapons and gadgets, and it explained like what each one of them did. It was from Predator 2. You and I both read the comic books. We were big into those. So we are coming into the Predator franchise as, I would say, fans of it. I like, obviously, Predator and Predator 2. I haven't been a big fan of most of the sort of 90s to, I guess, 2015-ish time period. Aliens versus Predator. Shane Black had the Predator. There was Predators. Didn't really care for any of those. I still love the character, like the character and the culture, which we'll talk about a little bit in Badlands, which is a big component of Badlands. The culture of the Predator all seemed cool, but the films themselves kind of fell flat on their face. And then recently, a few years back, Dan Trachtenberg, who is a director of Badlands, he directed, I think it would direct to Hulu, right? Prey.
Yeah, it was direct to Hulu. We have a review on that somewhere on the channel.
Yeah, and I'll link it down in the description below if anyone wants to hear that. But he did Prey, and I was quite impressed with that at the time. I thought it was really, really good. It was a nice, fresh take on the Predator. And I know, Ronan, you had mentioned in the past, like, you could just take the concept of Predator and place it in different time periods, and it would be awesome, right?
That's basically all. That's more or less all you can, unless you do what they're doing now. Is okay. Well, let's expand the mythology of the creature itself. If you're just doing, okay, well, predators on Earth hunting in like Afghanistan or something like that, hunting U.S. troops in Afghanistan. That would probably be an okay movie, but I'm not gonna get a chubby thinking about that concept. Now, it's like Predator versus cowboys. Okay, that's something interesting. Predator versus samurai. Predator versus Indians. That's like, let's get predators versus pirates and stuff. Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. Yeah, so it's like that. That's kind of the only, if you're going to do classic predator hunting man, stories, that's kind of the only path forward at this point. Or you do what they're doing now, where it's okay. Well, let's actually take a predator and make the predator a actual character and explore
Yeah,
that.
that can talk, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Well, I mean, they've
Actually,
always been able to talk. It's just
I'm
they've
talking
never
about
had subtitles.
cinematically. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
they've never had
cinematically.
subtitles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Dan Trachtenberg, with off the success of Prey, he did Predator Killer Killers. Did we do a review of that? I can't even remember if we did a review of that.
No, no, no. I don't think so. I think the
Okay.
closest we got was we brought it up while we were playing Fortnite. Fortnite kind of took over us doing like two Matts, one Steve, where we
Yeah,
would
yeah,
have
yeah.
talked about that, which we should have done, but we just didn't.
Yeah, yeah. So that was really cool. I like the animated thing, and again, it expands the lore. It's again, I think it's like four stories ultimately of the Predator showing up in different time periods. There's like a Viking one, and there's like a World War II one, and there's like a feudal Japan one, and then it's sort of like you kind of find out at the end of that it takes all these people back to, I guess, the Predator home world or something, and they have like kind of like a gladiator match and stuff like that. It was a cool animated film. And now Dan Trachtenberg's back again with Predator Badlands. So this is his third Predator film. Uh, Now we're going to talk. Is he 3 for 3, or did he swing and miss on this one? Ronan, just the high level overview. What is the basic premise of Predator Badlands?
Predator Badlands is about a predator, in this instance, actually given a name that's not the Jungle Hunter or the City Hunter. No, he actually has a name,
Derpy.
Deck. Yeah. What was it?
Derpy Deck.
Derpy. Okay, about you said Derpy. I was like, what? Did I get it wrong? I thought it was Dak. What the fuck?
He looks a little derpy.
Yeah, yeah. No, we can get to like that. We'll get to that as we get more into the actual review. But like it's the story of that predator, Dak, and how in his effort to become. They don't use the term blooded in this movie, but that in previous comics and novels, that was the term for the predator has to like go on a hunt and and earn his place in the tribe. It was called being blooded, but it was usually also in the comics a xenomorph they had to go after. But yeah, it's basically the predator having to do that, but there's also some actual family drama going on in the background as he goes to a planet that is no predator has ever come back from. They've come to that planet several times, but none have ever left the planet alive. And in order to hunt the actual ultimate prey, and along the way he picks up a tool, has a new sidekick, and
Yeah,
a stupid fucking CGI alien that luckily goes away after for a good chunk of the
yeah.
movie.
He makes friends. The Predator makes friends. It's about the friends we make along the way, right? The journey. Now, what I think was kind of cool about the initial setup to this is the opening scene. Again, it's been a while since I watched this. It's been over a month, so I might be a little vague on some of the specific details. But it kind of opens with Derpy Deck. He's kind of like the runt of the clan. He looks a little weak. He's kind of skinnier than the rest. And it's his brother, right, that is kind of challenging him. And his brother kind of like, again, beats him in a, I guess, friendly game of combat or
In a
something.
friendly sword fight, because that's a new element. I'm not
Yeah.
against predators having swords, but like it's clearly they wanted predators to have lightsabers, so they gave them swords that have like a red hot cutting edge, that
Yeah.
a legally
Yeah.
distinct lightsaber. But
Yes, yes. So the brother sort of like beats him again in combat, and Derpy Deck is just kind of like, "Look, man, I wanna show Dad that I'm just as strong, and I'm not this kind of weakling." Because what we kind of learn, at least early on here, is Dad's just basically gonna kill Derpy Deck. He's like, "This dude, I'm embarrassed to have this Yautja as my child. He can't do anything right. He sucks. He's not strong, he's weak. So I'm worried. I think he orders the brother to just chop his head off or something, right?
Yeah, yeah, he
Um,
comes. Yeah, after they've had their little sparring session, they go back to their spaceship, and the brother is like, "Well, okay, if I can get him to like get his first hunt in before Dad comes by, then it'll be good. We're not going to have any problems because his brother has been given an order from Daddy, who is apparently the chief leader, that no, he's too weak, he's too small, kill him. But his brother likes him, because of like
yeah,
brotherly ties, and he's trying to get in his like actual hunt so he can earn his cloak and all that. But that plan doesn't work.
yeah, yeah. So, but Deck, for he really wants to prove himself, and he basically tells his brother, "Send me to the planet that has the most dangerous game." And this is the first part of the film that I was a little sort of like struck by of like, well, this is odd because it's always been the xenomorph, right? Like, go hunt down an alien queen or some shit like that. Like it's xenomorph, that's the most dangerous game that a predator does. But they kind of changed the lore a bit cinematically in terms of that, where it's what was the name of this weird creature? I can't remember.
The Kalisk.
Callus, yeah. And essentially what this thing is it's like Wolverine in a monster form. So no predators ever come back because they can't figure out how to actually kill it. Like shoot it with your laser or whatever, and it just regenerates all of its tissue until it kills you, and it's gigantic. And so Deck decides, well, I'll do it. And about that point, Daddy shows up and orders brother to kill Deck. Brother is like, I'm not going to kill my brother. I'm going to stand up to Dad. Dad kicks brother's ass, and Deck flies off to the Kalisk planet, with a chip on his shoulder to get revenge on Dad.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's kind of where we start the main movie. And then along the way, we have some action scenes. Deck trying to survive the local, indigenous creatures that are there. Everything that's it. Everything on this planet is like will kill you.
yeah. This is what they wanted After Earth to look like. 'Cause they had that Will Smith, Jaden Smith vehicle where like everything on this planet is evolved to kill
Oh,
humans.
that's a good
That's
analogy. Yeah,
that's what they were going for. Everything here is evolved to kill humans, and then Jaden Smith runs around because the planet actually has not evolved to kill humans. The trailer is a lie, but like no, here everything is a killer. Like there aren't gentle herbivores or anything like that. Everything wants to kill, and everything will kill. Even the fucking plants will
yeah,
kill.
yeah. The trees have like all these vines that try to grab you and kill you and whatnot. But in the
Or their leaves are made out of fucking razor blades.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like, it just the way they kind of set up this planet, I thought looked really cool. Like, it just seemed like they did a good job where literally everything is a danger in this place. And then eventually, Deck runs across this Wayland Utani synth that is, in pieces basically. And she is like, hey, you help me, I'll help you. You take me to, I guess, her. What did she really call her sister or something in the movie? Dakota, was it Dakota Fanning or Elle Fanning? I always get those sisters mixed up. One of them
Yeah,
is playing this synth, but there's another synth version. They're like twins,
yeah.
and we find out that Wayland Utani sent all of these synths to this planet to sort of, what's the reason? Like get this callous creature.
They want the Callisk, but also this planet is just like a gold mine for like the bioweapons division, the infamous bioweapons division from all alien films. As on the one hand, it's like okay, yeah, like within the I don't know how he's setting up his universe because like we've mentioned, like well, usually like predators they always go after like xenomorph, but I think Trachtenberg, because he said in some interviews, because I think he doesn't want to step on toes, because he is smart enough to realize if you piss off the fan base by saying no, that didn't happen, then like you alienate a good chunk of your core audience. But he's like, well, like he's more or less indicated like, well, some predator tribes do that. This is a different tribe, and they have different customs and rules. And like that's also part what tied into Prey. Why that predator looks so fucking weird is like that is a different predator from a different tribe, and different tribes behave
Yeah.
differently. So it's like, okay, you know
Which
what?
makes sense because that's
Yeah,
what humans are like.
yeah. It's like it's exactly. It's like, okay, you know what? Fair enough. You're not erasing. You're not just erasing like all this. I can't say it came before because, in fairness, all this stuff, all what we call Predator lore and this expanded lore, it's all movies and it's not movies. It's all comic books and novels, and a
Yeah.
lot of times, much like Star Wars, a lot of that shit doesn't even like when you read it. A lot of that shit doesn't like line up with itself.
Yeah.
But even the term Yalcha, if I'm not mistaken, that is a comic term. It just got adopted by the fan base. The movies never call them that. So even
Yeah.
that is a comic term that's just been adopted into canon.
Well, I think they call him Yautja in this movie, though, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
said it
Yeah.
got adopted into canon. This is like the first official time they've ever been called that. Even like the Predator never called them that, because in the Predator, it's just like, yes, would you like to meet a Predator? Like a stupid fucking movie.
No.
Like, but
Terrible movie.
yeah, yeah,
Terrible movie. So yeah, basically, and then what we sort of get is the evil version of Dakota Fanning or Elle Fanning, whoever it is trying to capture, obviously this cast, castless, cast. I can never.
Callus. They
Callus.
want
I always forget
they
the name.
want the Callus for its insane healing properties, and like, oh well,
Yes.
like if we get this, like it's for the bioweapon, so they want the creature itself to somehow turn it into a weapon. Which kind of like in Jurassic World, the idea of turning dinosaurs into weapons doesn't work. And
Yeah.
the idea of like, okay, we're going to turn this wild animal into a weapon also doesn't work. But they like, yeah, oh well, there's going to be a plus side of like, we can take it. It heals from anything. Like even if you cut its head
Almost.
off, even if you cut its head off, it will magically grow like body tentacle things to grab the head and put it back on. Even Wolverine can't fucking do that. Like Deadpool kind of can, but Wolverine can't do that. But oh, this is going to jumpstart humanity. We're going to conquer all diseases with this stuff. So that's kind of that's more to the point of why they're there. They're collecting specimens
Yeah.
to advance humanity.
And they
Uh,
can't send any humans because the planet's so dangerous, so they send all these synths.
yeah,
And then over the course of Dakota Fanning sort of taking this predator on a journey to find this regenerative monster, they encounter the Weyland Yutani synths who have their own agenda, and then it just becomes the predator deck trying to learn because his whole thing is like I have to do it by myself. Like
yeah, yeah.
I that the whole theme of this movie is kind of like an indictment on the entire Yautja culture. Is essentially what it's doing because the whole thing with like predators is like they do it by themselves, right? They have to be the ones that takes down their prey. And then when they do, they get their skull, they get, their cloak and like all,
Spine, skin, whatever. Yeah, whatever it is
yeah,
that they're there. Like they take trophies from them that way. Yeah,
yes. And so, Deck can't do it by himself. Like you see throughout this whole, oh, wait, before we get to that, what is the CG like, side pet that they run into as they're on their journey to find this monster?
they don't name it. Luck. Well, no, actually, no. Like Ella Fanning. Thea. She gives it a name. I don't remember what the fuck she ends up calling it.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah, no, that was the. So at a certain point in this movie, so like I have seen some reviews where they thought that like Thea or Ella Fanning, they thought that she was like a really annoying. All this, that's the Disneyfication of this movie. If you're reading a review or watching a video where they say that, you are watching a fucking grifter, like who is living off of cancel culture shit. Because that's not what happens in this fucking movie. She's chatty, but it's not annoying, and you need that because otherwise you would have a silent movie, which is always why it's you never you that's always been the issue. You can't have a movie where the predator is the main character because predators are silent; they don't fucking talk or
They
anything.
call him Bud, by the way. I just looked it up.
Yeah,
And yeah,
okay,
it
sorry.
is Elle Fanning. I apologize for saying Dakota Fanning.
Yeah, I've got it opened up in IMDb. That's how I was like, yeah, it's Eleanor Fanning, but like because that's not the way it works. He picks her up like later on. He talks himself into carrying the robot with him because his little wrist bracelet thingy that all the predators have got broken in like while he was fighting dragons and the literal dragons and like killer vines. So now he needs a new robot because he doesn't have one on his arm anymore. So he's like, "Oh, well, you're a tool. That's okay. I'm allowed to use tools. I
Yeah,
can't have people come with me." So I thought, okay, that's clever. So she's chatty through the whole thing, but it's not annoying chatty. Where this movie instantly was like, "Oh fuck!" Like where I hit a wall with this movie where the second they introduce this thing and you realize, "Oh fuck, this thing is going to hang out with them for the rest of the movie." Was when they pick up Bud. Now, luckily, they pick Bud up for like 5 minutes, and then Bud disappears from the movie until like the last like 10 minutes. So they wisely get rid of it. But had it
yeah,
been the Predator, Thea, like Ella Fanning, and this CGI dog, then I'd have a completely different view on this movie. But luckily, they did not do that
yeah.
because
This is
they
like
came close.
the Groguification of Predator. You have this like nice. I could imagine when I saw this thing pop up on screen. I'm like, if this thing is a huge hit, they're gonna make this into little plush toys, and they're gonna do like, oh, I mean, it's like, oh, look at this, like, look at Bud, isn't Bud so cute and adorable and stuff.
Yeah, it's strange when I look at it. You know what? I picture dolls with little suction cups on their hand that stick on windows. Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Now we're gonna spoil stuff here, so we haven't said too much yet. But from this point forward, we're gonna delve into spoilers. So if you haven't watched Predator Badlands and you don't want to know anything about it, I would say come back and check this review later on. Thank you for
yeah.
the first 20
I would
minutes.
say we gave you a month.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now, what you ultimately end up finding out, spoiler alert, is that Bud is the child of the actual monster that
It's a
they're
yeah,
going after.
it's a baby Callisk or pup or whatever the term would be for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a baby Callisk.
yeah, yeah. So ultimately, like, they have to learn some hard lessons along the way. Deck needs to learn to trust Thea. And what was Thea's sister's name? The evil cyborg or synth or whatever you would
Yeah,
call it.
I'm trying to. Let me go
Yeah, while
back up.
you're looking that up, I will say that with regards to Elle Fanning's performance, I thought she was awesome in this because she plays dual roles. She plays kind of like this spunky, kind of annoying, chatty kind of character that has empathy for the creatures and because that's her whole thing. Like her synth version that Wayland Yutani designed gave her empathy so she can sort of commune in a way with the native
It's
creatures.
Tessa.
Tessa, yeah, yeah, okay. So Thea can kind of commune with the scary creatures on the planet, and then Tessa is kind of like that cold classic Wayland Yutani synth where like I'm only going to follow the directions of the company, what they want me to do, and I will do whatever I need to do to accomplish the goal of the company and that classic sort of evil synth Wayland Yutani sort of thing. So then you kind of have that relationship drama between Thea and Tessa because Thea's got this kind of like her eyes are wide open. She's very naive about what who Tessa really is with
Yeah.
regards to their
If this
relationship.
if this were Matt's favorite genre, anime,
Oh,
Thea, like Thea would have the big, wide anime girl eyes, and Tessa would have the narrow, angry anime eyes, and that's how you would know that that's your tell right there. That one of them is warm and caring, and the other one is evil. It's from the slanted anime eyes that she would permanently have because she was designed to not have feelings,
no feelings.
and Thea was designed to have feelings because they were smart enough to know, it's like, well, we kind of need both. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes you need both to make the plan work.
Yeah. So eventually, like Thea kind of realizes that Tessa, because she betrays Deck at one point in time, because she's trying to not only get her legs back, because that's one of the things where Thea's like, I can take you to this monster because the monster ripped me in half, and I need my
Yeah,
legs. You need the monster. take me there. And then she kind of betrays Deck by calling Tessa because she thinks Tessa's actually like good and not really evil. And then they capture Deck. We kind of get the whole sort of story. Then that's where Tessa kind of monologues a little bit about what's really going on. Deck is able to escape, and then we're kind of rushing towards the conclusion of like who's going to reach this monster first. Is Deck going to reach it and destroy it first, or is Tessa gonna reach it first? By this point, Thea's on board with Deck. The Yautja, Thea, and Bud are trying to save the monster, and the Wayland Yutani people, led by Tessa, they're trying to capture everybody, and we sort of roll into the big finale, which is what, Ronan? How does this sort of all resolve?
The ending part of the movie, because I was still on a little shaky ground. This is like I was on some kind of shaky ground with this movie, especially once they introduced the CG pet. But they ditched the CG pet at a certain point because while he fights the callus, the little pet's not there. But there is a important that we should tie in the fact that before they left, they had the pet with them, and Bud gives it some meat, and it eats it, and then the Bud looks at the predator and spits this green goo on him, and that is actually important for because at a certain point while he's fighting the callus, it stops and it gives him a good whiff, and that's when Wayland Yutani comes in. So he's been so at this point he has been jettisoned out of the Wayland Yutani convoy. He's made his way back to the crashed his crashed spaceship because he was unconscious when it was flying to the planet, hit some asteroids, and crash landed. So Wayland Yutani has picked the ship clean mostly, uh, but so he sees his brother's helmet and stuff, but he doesn't take it, and he comes across Bud near where he was fighting the callus, and Bud is sniffing the footprints, and that's when Deck puts together, it's like, oh shit, Bud is a baby callus. Oh fuck. He also had a conversation with Thea at some point where she was trying to convince him, like, well, on our planet we have wolves, and I was really glad they didn't go with the alpha wolf thing because that does not exist. That only happens in zoos. In nature, there is no alpha wolf. That's not a thing. That only happens when you put a bunch of strange wolves in a cage. That's when they form an alpha. In nature, it doesn't work that way, and they actually do she actually does kind of mention the strongest wolf is the one that defends the pack. And so he's kind of taking that to heart now. It's like, oh well, I can defend my new clan. I can be the wolf. And this is what the movie won me back super hard because he has a suit up montage, and
Yeah.
he doesn't because he doesn't have any of his normal gear. He makes sweet predator armor and weapons out of the fucking environment. Just random scenes of there were these weird little lizards that spit acid earlier in the movie, and there was Thea knew how to tame them with bees or something, and so he does that. Now he's got a pet that spits acid on his shoulder. That's his new shoulder cannon. He takes bones from a super strong bison and makes that into his armor. He uses the razor leaves from some of those plants, and he uses that to make whips and a new wrist blade and stuff. Okay, I am super on board with this now because now we have a classic predator, but he's wearing gear that he made from this planet. He has gone
Yeah.
feral. And I was like, this is super fucking cool, and this is also why the movie is rated PG-13 because there is horrific violence in this movie, but none of it happens to human beings. It all happens to
Yeah.
robots, and you can get
Yeah.
away with that shit if they're robots. So, it's not that this movie isn't violent; it's just that it happens to robots, and the MPAA doesn't consider that bad because why should they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how the Star Wars got away with so much stuff as well. It's like, oh, there's droids and shit like that. Yeah. So that was a super cool sequence. I love how everything what seemed just like random, right? So it's like, okay, when he first lands on this planet, of course we're gonna have our obligatory. He's gonna have to fight the various creatures of the planet and stuff. Like they actually brought all of that back in that moment. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, well, it wasn't just fluff random action for action.
everything comes back around.
Yeah, there's a reason, the Deck is actually smart. And he went back and he utilized, when he has to get that like weird snake venom spitting thing, he actually has to go and use what he learned to sort of like tame them and stuff in order for them to get on board, so they're not just spitting acid at him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All of that was super cool. I
There
really
were
liked
there were weird exploding caterpillars that early in the movie, like they make big ass fucking explosions. But he figures out after that altercation with them, okay, I know how to wrap them up safely, so they won't hurt me. There are these little pods that spit like vines that are covered in like paralyzing venom, and he figures out how to capture that stuff. Because I like that's it. Everything from earlier in the movie, all these except for the killer vines. That's like but they are in the ending of this movie, but he doesn't utilize them as part of his arsenal. But I can let that shit slide. That's the point is that like what would have looked like fluff earlier on is not fluff. This is him learning how the planet works, and now he's becoming one with the planet. And it also ties back to like earlier in the movie where his brother was telling him, "You're fighting like Dad. You need to fight like you." And now he's learning
yeah.
how to fight like him. Now, like all this, like it comes together. The writing was here all along. That's why if you read a review or someone saying this is woke fluff, they're not actually trying to review the movie. They're selling you a fucking grifter agenda because that is not what
Yeah.
happens in this fucking movie.
Yeah, it's all super cool how it all sort of comes together, and ultimately, what I didn't quite like is they really make the Calisk out to be this thing that cannot be killed. Well, it turns out you can kill it. You just blow it up.
Well,
It can't
there's some
regenerate
steps
from.
to it. You have to freeze it, then blow it up from the
Yeah,
inside, and it can't heal from that.
can't heal from that. It seemed a little convenient because like how do you set up something that you've shown early on in the movie regenerates from its head chopped off, right?
It
It really
grows weird flesh tentacles to suck the head back onto it. Like
yeah.
that is
But
fucking broken. That is cheap. That's a
but the rest of the movie is it's so good that like I'm just gonna roll with it. Fine, like they just have this convenient way to kill the Kalisk, and now Bud's gonna grow up to be another Kalisk, and all whatever. It's fine. I do love the very end of this movie. So after all, they kill the Weyland Yutani sense, and the Kalisk is dead. They got to go back because Derpy Deck needs to go back home so he can confront Daddy. And then we
He's
have
got to
sort
get
of
his cloak because that's the one key predator piece of lore that he does not have. He does not have a cloak because you don't get that until you've been blooded or whatever their version of that is. Uh,
yeah. And so he's like, I've got because Deck's whole thing is like, I have to be the one that kills this Kalisk, so I can say I brought back the skull of this thing to prove to my clan that I belong.
Yeah, he
Um,
switches because like that, the whole point was to get a trophy, and
yeah,
he chose the Callus to be his trophy. But eventually, he chooses a different trophy. He chooses fucking Tessa's head as his trophy
yeah,
for
yeah.
for all the bullshit she put him through.
Yeah, yeah. So eventually he gets back, and he has a fight with Dad, of course, and ends up killing Dad. And we get the heartwarming message that he's like, "I don't need this tribe. I've got my own tribe." And now he's rocking with Thea and Bud, who's much bigger at this point, right?
Yeah, he grows up faster than fucking Groot. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
already like mid-sized.
And then so like the big thing, like I guess the teaser, at the very end is a huge Yautja ship shows up. And I think Thea's like, "What? Who
More
who is
friends of
this?"
yours, and he's like, "No, it's my mom."
It's Mom. Now, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've ever seen a female predator in any of the movies, right?
Never in a movie. The only female predator, I don't even think they've been in the comics. The only female predator that's ever showed up was actually that Predator game that we played once or twice a couple of years ago, where they got
Yep.
Arnie for it. Yeah, like there are female predators in that game, and that game because it has its own audio log and its own bit of. I recommend looking it up on YouTube because it actually does continue the story from Predator into Predator 2 into fucking Predators and the Predator. Like it's actually like if you listen to those audio logs, it's actually pretty fucking cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
Arnie he fights another predator. He kills it. He keeps tracking them down, but eventually he gets his shit pushed in by a predator. He's like, yeah, it looked a lot thinner and leaner. And this government agency he was working for tells him, yeah, we've identified that as a female. They're actually much worse than the males are. They are substantially meaner, and they almost never go out
Woke,
on hunting.
woke, Ronin. We're getting into woke territory. Are you telling me that the female predators, the patriarchy that we've come to know and love with the predators, strong male predators, are actually the weaker of the two? I can't handle it, Ronin. Woke.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
Obviously, I kid on this. Like, I think it's cool that Dan Trachtenberg, and of course he's going to be called woke. You know, if whatever this predator quote unquote mother is, he's going to have to sort of explain what the female predator roles are in society. And I guarantee you, if the next movie that comes out and it's this female predator is actually like the head of predator society, whatever, all these idiotic YouTubers like Critical Drinker and all these people, that's all they're gonna say
Yeah.
is Disney turned Predator woke. It's like I just want to see a new aspect of the Predator stuff that I've never seen before.
Yeah, like what
Um,
do you want us to keep doing? You want us to keep making finger quotes traditional predator movie? We tried that with the predator, and it only goes so far. You can
yeah,
spin it a little bit, like Predators, where they took him to a game reserve. That's a good movie. Or you take the predator and you dump him in a different time period, like Prey. That's at this point, those are your only two options. It's a got to be you further investigate the predator lore, or you go back in time. That's it. Those are your only options. You got nothing else you can do with this thing that makes it interesting.
yeah. I'm actually curious because Dan Trachtenberg has done such a good job with these three Predator movies so far. I actually kind of want him to do an Alien versus Predator movie. I have a feeling like
It's
clearly
rumored.
clearly he is a huge fan of Predators, which means he's got to be a huge fan of Aliens as
We
well
put
because
Wayland Yutani in here. I think at this
yeah.
point, like Fox doesn't know. Okay, well, if we do this, are we gonna step on toes of what's going on with like Alien Earth or Romulus? Because I think Ridley Scott is still like kind of producing alien movies, which is why Romulus they just had to shove in the fucking black goo and make sure that my movies are still canon, guys. Like they had to
Yeah.
shove that shit into it. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. If, I don't like. I think Fox they might be trying to work that out, or maybe they don't care. I
Yeah.
might be giving them too much thought there.
Well, at this point, I'm just invested in what I consider like the Dan Trachtenberg universe of the Predator stuff. Like, I don't give a shit about Shane Black stuff. I'm ignoring
No,
all of that. That's all stupid to me. I don't care if someone were to tell me that's canon. I don't give a fuck. It's not to
no.
me.
Like
I don't care.
The Shane Black movie made the AVP movies canon because you see that
Yeah,
xenomorph spear and the you see that stuff on the wall. It's like,
yeah.
ugh.
And what
Uh,
I'm saying is like I don't care. Like I know Steve, our good buddy Steve, he has a big problem when I'm just like I can just not consider bullshit in my sort of quote unquote headcanon. You give me shit for that as well. But I'm like Predator's a great example of this because I'm like the AVP movies suck. I haven't seen Predators in quite a while. And now that you say that you like it, I remember not being thrilled with it, but I don't remember a whole lot of it. So I want to kind of go back and rewatch that. But like The Predator, the AVP movies, like I don't give a shit about any of those. To me, right now, it's Predator, Predator 2, Prey, Killer of Killers, and Badlands. Those five movies to me are awesome. If you took those and Dan Trachtenberg, he's like in Prey, he took the gun from Predator 2, right? And put that in the movie and connected like that sort of universe together.
It made
Um,
sense in Prey. It made no sense in Killer of Killers. Killer of Killers was where I rolled my eyes and was like, "Oh, fuck you." But like in Prey, I didn't. It's like, "Oh, this makes sense. This is the right time period.
yeah,
This works here."
but
No,
all
but
these movies are good though. That's what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
all of these movies are good movies. Now, whether you think they're amazing and great or just like, yeah, I mean, it was just a cool, fun movie, regardless, they're good movies. I don't
Yeah.
think you can argue that these are bad movies in
No,
any way.
Predator has had a much better run than Alien has.
Yeah, because you can't do anything really with Alien.
No, yeah,
Like,
there are two good Alien movies, and if I'm feeling generous, I'll give like Romulus and Alien 3 kind of sort of a pass, but like
yeah,
that's it.
yeah, and then the kind of thing that Predator has over Alien is it is clear like the xenomorphs it's just hive mentality, right? They're just essentially monsters that go around and kill everything. At least with the predators, there is an actual culture there, right?
Yeah,
We can identify with a predator, like we could identify with Deck in this. That he's not some big badass predator. He's got to earn his stripes, so to speak, and he struggles and he's got to overcome all of this stuff. And there's an actual culture here and relationships. That's all stuff that human beings can relate to. You can't do that with a xenomorph. So
yeah,
in an alien film, whether it's a television show or whether it's a movie, you are relying on the human characters or the synth characters to give you that kind of attachment that you can kind of recognize. Whereas Predator, like in this one, Deck's actually talking. One of the cool things where Thea's like, "Oh, we're doing like a universal language sort of thing here, like a Star Trek. Everyone, oh, I could
yeah,
just translate all of this stuff." And he doesn't speak English, but it's like, of course, the predators would actually have a language that they communicate in. I love that it's like subtitled and stuff like that, and it's like you can connect with it. It
yeah.
it
They
makes
never put
sense,
English words in his mouth, which is good.
right? Now she can speak English, so it's like, hey, how does she explain it? It's like if I speak English, I hear English, but then the other creature hears their language,
Yeah,
and so that's how they can communicate back and forth, which I
yeah.
thought was kind of a novel,
Yeah,
interesting way to
yeah,
do it.
I don't even think they didn't even really need to give us that explanation. I'm not knocking that explanation. That's fine. Just saying, as a movie, like there are films that prove like all you really need to do is like a camera pass, like Hunt for Red October. You know, they're speaking Russian, and then there's like a camera sweep, and they start speaking English, and
Yeah,
we, the audience, are smart enough to realize, oh, okay, they're still technically speaking Russian. We're just hearing Sean Connery pretend to be Russian. Like, that's all. Like we can piece that together. This movie could have done that, but they put in like the translator thing, and that's, again, I'm not knocking it. That's fine. It's just she could have been talking to it, and then the dialogue could have switched to English, and I think the bulk of people, at least half of America, would have figured it out.
yeah, yeah.
So,
But overall, let's kind of wrap it up. Your overall thoughts on Predator Badlands?
I liked it. It was I went into this movie actually thinking I was going to hate it because the trailers, to those grifters' credit, if you just watch the trailers, they do give you the impression that this is like a Disneyfied alien. We've made him. He looks derpy. He looks human, so that way we can relate to him. I had all those thoughts just watching the trailers. I was like, "This is fucking dumb. I don't want to watch Predator be a hero. Like that's stupid. I don't like that." But I decided to go and see it anyway. And no, it works within how the movie operates, and there even is a canon in movie explanation for why Dak looks this way. It's because he is the runt. He's like
Yeah.
he's like, I think his dad and the like Thea, like, no, Tessa mentioned it when she's experimenting on him, that he's a deformed runt, and
Hmm.
that's why he looks the way he does. So there is an in-universe explanation. Again, Trachtenberg not trying to step on toes of somebody like me, because I like that's the knock that I have against him. I do not like the way he makes his predators look.
Yeah.
So, like, that feral predator looks dumb as hell, and I don't really care for the. They're animated, so I understand you can make the proportions look all crazy because it's not a guy in a suit anymore. But I don't like the way the predators look in Killer of Killers. I can get past that and enjoy the movie, like that movie and this movie. They're all good, but I hate the way he makes the predators look. They look dumb.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I really like this. Again, this is to your point of when you watch the trailer, because I had the same kind of reaction when I first looked at the trailer. I was like, oh my god, this predator looks so stupid. Like, what are we doing here? And that was your initial sort of like reaction, and my initial reaction. But this is a really great example of don't judge a movie by its trailer, right? It's like, we could get up on, social media and be like, "Oh my god, click click click, look at this woke nonsense blah blah blah," to get the views and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
Our channel might actually take off if we did that.
yeah, yeah, maybe we should start doing that. But it's like, look, let
I'll
me
get us some
watch the
red
movie
hats.
first. Yeah, let me watch the movie first and then make an informed decision on what I'm seeing, right? So, yeah, okay, the Predator mom's coming, right? In the next movie, we're going to be introduced to that. I'm not going to immediately just assume, all of these things. I'm like, I want to wait and see what Dan Trachtenberg does with the female presence of the Predator Society,
Yeah,
and maybe he's got a really cool angle on it that 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 I want to sort of explore. And I was like, wow, that'd be really, really cool. I'm not going to just prejudge it, but I understand, like, just as human beings, we see stuff initially and we're like, oh,
yeah.
but this is a good example of you got to wait and watch it. And
Yeah,
there's
no,
no,
yeah, I 100%. I'll eat crow. I thought this movie was gonna fucking suck based on the trailers because I've already said like it's looked stupid as hell. I thought for sure. And no, no, I really enjoyed it. It's like wow, this
yeah.
was fucking good.
So if you had to give it a letter grade as sort of rating, what would you give Predator Badlands?
A letter grade, like if we were putting this into like a weird those internet tier lists that are all the rage.
Like
Again, if we
A,
did
B, C,
yeah,
D,
yeah, again
F,
if we did some
plus or
tier lists,
minus.
if we did some trendy tier lists, maybe we get some views. But I would put this in the B category. Like it's I like I don't I'm not going I can't quite put it in A tier. But I did again. I very much enjoyed it. This was a good movie, and I enjoy the fact how this movie was like #1 at the box office for like
Yeah,
2 or 3 fucking weeks. That means nobody bought into that bullshit. People were smarter than I was. Yeah, thinking that this trailer looks stupid. No, most people were like, "This looks good. Give me popcorn."
yeah.
Like yeah,
Well,
most
it's cool
people
they put this in the theaters instead of just direct to streaming.
yeah, they could have done that because that's what they did with Prey.
Prey
I've
would have
like
done a lot better, I think, had they actually released it. That Prey in and of itself looked like it should have been a theatrical release.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was planned to, but they didn't because of like COVID era stuff. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
maybe,
100%, but yeah, it
maybe.
definitely has the look and the feel of a theatrical movie. And I think it would have done fine in theaters. I don't know. Like I've heard that there's supposed to be talks of like a limited theatrical run for it. I'm not sure if they're actually doing that. If it's playing in my area, even though I can see it for free on Hulu, I would pay money for a ticket to
Oh,
see it
for
on a
sure.
screen.
Yeah, I would pay money just to basically see anything Dan Trachtenberg's doing right now because he hasn't let me down yet. So he's got a track record he's building up. In terms of like how I'd view this, I'd probably give this like a B plus. I really enjoyed it. I think I wouldn't put it sort of in an A category, and the only reason why is because I'm comparing it to other Predator movies.
Yeah.
I'm comparing the Predator design to like the Stan Winston designs, which cannot be topped.
No, that's,
Apparently, like no
no,
one can
that's
top these. So like the designs of the Predator and stuff, it's not as cool as it could be. Like if you took the same kind of, I guess, tribe or clan of Predator, like put the Stan Winston Predator in this, would I think would I like bump it up to the A tier? Because I'm like, okay, we got an amazing design for a Predator. We got all this cool stuff. I probably would. But again,
maybe.
it's just
Yeah.
I think I kind of would just because it's like, that design is so iconic
Yeah.
and so incredible. And every time these artists, and I give them credit. I mean, it's tough to be better than the master.
No.
Stan
If you
Winston to Stan Winston, right?
yeah, if you try and make a predator look super big and bulky, that's what they did with the first Alien versus Predator movie.
Yeah.
And when they look that big and derpy, they can't move their arms right. A friend of mine used to say when somebody got too muscular, you could tell they can't even wipe their own ass because their hands won't reach because there's just too much bulk. It's the
Yeah, yeah.
same. Yeah, it's like that and
Was it
that
Kevin
stupid.
Peter Hall, right? He was the guy who was in the first two Predator. He was very tall and thin.
Yeah.
Very
Well, like
tall.
the actor who like this off the topic sort of thing, but the primary suit actor who played the Predator in like both AVP movies, it was the same guy. He was a tall Russian guy, but he's tall and lean. In the first movie, they like it was purely the suits that were super bulky.
Hmm.
He played in the second movie, which the only good thing about Alien versus Predator Requiem is the Predator is fucking badass. Like if you can squint hard enough to actually fucking see him in that dark ass movie, that is the second coolest Predator in the whole franchise, and he's locked behind a dog shit movie. But it's the same actor, and that suit looks more reminiscent of the more tall, lean predators. So like that's your butter zone. Tall and lean and muscular. Uh,
Yeah, that look like they can actually swing around trees
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
agile and stuff like that. So yeah, really like this one. Super super cool. Like I said, Elle Fanning's performance and her dual characters awesome. I thought she was awesome as Tessa as well. Like this very sort of straightforward, like Weyland Yutani evil type of synth. I thought she was really good.
It's funny how the company still feels like it has to threaten a robot.
Yeah, yeah. So overall, yeah, we dug this. Leave a comment down below. Let us know. Did you like Predator Badlands? What did you like about our review? What did you dislike about our review? Did we miss anything that you wanted
Tell
us
us
to
how
share with?
woke we are for thinking that the Disney
Oh
5
yeah,
Predator is actually good.
yeah, it's good. If this is what woke is, bring more of it because
Yeah.
I really really enjoyed this one, and I can leave the review on this. My fiance Alyssa, she is not a fan of the Predator movies. Really, she said she kind of likes the first one, but the rest of the Predator movies are just kind of like not her thing. And she actually really liked this one. So for somebody who's not a big diehard Predator fan, just kind of a quote unquote normie film goer, she really, really dug it. So I think that Dan Trachtenberg is really on to something here because he's bringing in, to your point, Ronan, I think this was the highest grossing Predator movie ever.
Yeah.
And I think he's bringing in a new audience that maybe have been like, I don't want to watch Predator with this alien running around killing people. That's not interesting. But people are digging what he's building lore wise and these different sort of characters and putting them in different time periods. And, there's rumors now that Arnold Schwarzenegger's in talks to quote unquote return in some variation. I don't know. That would be the one thing that I'm not super on board with what Dan Trachtenberg is doing is like Predators freezing the people that are
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to.
that goes against the whole
I
like
don't like
okay,
that.
yeah, you go that goes against the whole okay, well you actually won. We respect strength and honor. Like okay, yeah, here's your trophy for beating us. Now
Yeah,
don't tell nobody, and then they
but
leave.
I have to trust at least now because he hasn't led us astray yet. I have to trust he's got an answer for that.
So
That's
long
going
as
to
they
be.
aren't trying to weaponize autism, I think I'm going to be okay with it.
And with that, thank you everyone for listening to another review on Outpost Unknown. Leave a comment down below also if you want us to do more reviews. We do just do these every once in a while for stuff that we think are interesting. Ronan and I will be back next month for a review of Avatar, the new Avatar movie, which I'm actually excited for. Are you excited for the new Avatar movie?
Honestly, no, but
Okay.
I don't hate these movies either. I've never understood the hate backlash. This is the whole like we're at the end of this review. I don't want to go into a whole side topic, but these
Yeah.
movies are fine. Yeah, but yeah, they kind of rode the wave of 3D, and now they're just fine. But
Are
yeah,
you planning to see the new one in 3D?
I didn't see the last one in 3D.
Okay. I'm thinking like maybe I will see this one in 3D just to see because that is the one thing about these Avatar movies. Like, it is the best 3D you can possibly see in a movie. James Cameron loves 3D and it's incredible. So I'm actually wondering if maybe I should see it in 3D just to sort of see. I haven't seen a 3D movie in years.
Yeah, yeah, me
Try
either.
to see what.
I might give that a go because I don't hate 3D, but we had a legendary discussion that no one ever heard because it wasn't recorded playing Red Dead Redemption Poker. I do think 3D is something of a gimmick, but at the same time, it doesn't make the movie worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, thank you everyone for listening to the review, and we will see you next time on Transmissions from the Outpost. See you later.